Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Old twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The movie begins with Barry, and he entered the cafe and ordered a fruits with nuts. Barry was clever, but he was concerned about the people who accepted him. Then a call came in from Dr. Alfred, saying he wanted to go to another city because there was an earthquake there, and this was one of the missions he wanted to undertake. At that moment, Barry went to the cafe bathroom and put on a superhero costume. In a flash, he rushed to the city they mentioned, but he didn't arrive in time. He found it starting to collapse, with many people in the streets. He arrived in front of the hospital, where the ground was shaking a lot beneath it, and he gave a man a push to help him out of a hole. At the same moment, he saw the second hero, Batman, chasing someone in that hospital who had stolen a deadly virus and was escaping with it. Batman called out to Barry, asking him how many rescue operations were happening in the hospital. He said he needed to focus on the one who stole the virus. Returning to Barry, he saw the hospital shaking. On the next level, there was a children's nursery. The hospital was shaking, its floors were cracking, and everything started to fall. Then, in the nursery, they tried to do something to escape, but they too fell with the small children. Barry saw them falling and quickly rushed to save them, but his energy was running low since he hadn't eaten anything yet. At that moment, he saw food falling from the hospital, so he quickly opened it and ate what was inside, thus regaining his energy. He was able to save the family and all the small children. After completing his mission, he returned to his city, took his order from the cafe, and went to his regular job. He worked as a researcher in a forensic lab. After finishing his day at work, he went out with two of his friends to chat in front of the workplace. He met his old friend, West, who had been studying with him for a while. As soon as he saw her, he ran to his friends and stopped to talk to her. She asked him what he was doing there, and he told her he worked there. She then asked him about his father's trial case, and he told her to know the topic. He told her he was the one who took this case from the newspaper he works for now. The story of this trial is that his father was accused of killing his wife, who was Barry's mother, when he was 18 years old. His father's trial hadn't finished until now. West asked him if he was sure his father didn't do anything, that he didn't kill her. Barry told her he was sure he didn't kill her. The truth would be revealed later. To understand the story well, we need to go back 18 years. An hour before the incident, Barry's mother went to the supermarket to shop. When she returned home, she asked her husband, Henry, to go get her something. He indeed went to get her from the supermarket. Barry was still young, sitting at home playing when he heard a loud noise from downstairs. When he went down, he found his mother stabbed in the kitchen with a knife, and his father was holding the knife, trying to pull it out of her. At that moment, his father told him to run and call for an ambulance. When the police arrived, his father was arrested on suspicion of murder, since he was the one with her and was holding the knife. Returning to the present time, when Barry went home, he called his father, who was still in jail. Barry told him that even the surveillance camera recordings from the supermarket during the time of the incident didn't clearly show his face, making it hard to prove his innocence. His father told him he couldn't do anything about it and that he was the one who was accused and he would have to live with it in jail. After finishing with him, he went out to meet his friend Bruce, who was Batman, and they were both forming a team in the city. Barry told Bruce that he could control time and go back to the day of the incident to prevent it from happening in the first place. Bruce disagreed with the idea, saying that it was called tampering with time and would greatly affect the future. Barry insisted that he wouldn't change many events, just go back to the hour when his mother was at the supermarket and place the pork chops she forgot there so his father wouldn't end up in jail. He would stay at home and nothing would happen. Despite this, Bruce still didn't like the idea and refused to agree with him. After Bruce left, the girl came and met Barry. He offered her to go with him to the house. They walked, and here he started going in and out on her. He was talking about the time control issue, but she did not understand what he was saying because she did not know him. He was a superhero, and he was the Flash. The important thing is that Barry was finally convinced of the idea of going back in time, and there was no one who would stop him. At that moment, he left the house, put on the suit, and began the ritual of going back in time. He chose the exact moment that was still important in the supermarket. He entered the time portal to reach the supermarket. There, he reached his mother and put the gourd of sauce in her basket. Thus, the events changed. When he returned from the time portal, the events began to arrange, and he saw the floats passing by. They were a family gathered and happy with each other. He even saw the moment of his celebration with them for 18 years. But in the middle of these events that he was watching, someone came out to him and hit him until he threw him from the time portal. Then he found himself in front of their old house where he lived with his parents. He entered to them and found her in the kitchen. She was shocked when she saw him and said to him, "You look like you have aged since you did that to her." And even his father noticed her. But he did not suspect much. He really looked old because he was currently 30 years old. Anyway, they sat down to eat. He saw Barry, who was 18 years old, coming from outside and was about to enter the house. He immediately went out and found him. He grabbed him and did not let him enter and stayed with him until they convinced him. He explained to him that he was the one from the future and that he is 30 years old. Thus, the young Barry calmed down and they went out to talk. The older one explained to him that he could control time, and that was why he returned to now and asked him to cooperate with him so that he could return to the future and to be certain of the supernatural power that he had now. After he did not explain to him what was happening, he needed to explain to him even how to get out of here and there. The older Barry, thinking that on this exact day, where did he get the power he had now? He said to the younger one, "We must go and repeat the same events that happened to him at that time in order for you to gain power. Scientifically and logically, unless the same events are repeated and the younger one does not gain his power today, this will affect the older one and actually take away his power." They agreed, and at night, as the time approached, Barry went to the forensic research lab where the incident happened that gave him his powers. He was in the same lab. They put him in the same position he was in as a child. Barry opened the window and waited until the time of the incident came, when the storm hit and lightning struck. This lightning entered through the window and struck the chemical containers that were there. It passed through and entered the body of both the older and younger Barry. Thus, the power transferred from the older Barry to the younger one. Now the younger Barry had gained the power. The young Barry saw the strength he had acquired and was thrilled. He ran through the city at his fastest speed, causing flames to erupt from his clothes. The older Barry told him that he needed a special suit when he wanted to use his power because his clothes would always burn off him due to the speed. He also told him he needed to train to learn how to control his newfound strength. On the next day, they went to train. Old Barry gave him a special ring and told him, "This ring is the one that has the clothes. Just measure it, and it comes out as a very small dress with the interaction with the air. It fits on him. He just puts it on." They heard a commotion in the street. When they went, they found people gathered around the screen in the street. There was breaking news that an evil alien named Zad wanted to destroy the entire Earth. On the screen, he said to them, "I have come to take one of our creatures who escaped to us and is now here on Earth. You must find him and bring him back to me if you want peace with me." Old Barry knew the creature he was talking about, which is Little Superman. Barry asked him who this old Superman is. He said his name is Clark, one of the inhabitants from Crypto, which is the same planet as this one. And Clark, who is Superman, discovered his power at a young age, but did not use it for evil, because he is good and wants good for people, the opposite of evil. After this, old Barry took the little one and went to Bruce's house, which is Batman. Barry told him the problem again, how he came here. Bruce told him, "This is your mistake because it was clear that if you change the past, you will even affect the future." Here, Bruce did not want to help him and went on his own. Old Barry had an idea, took little Barry, and went to Batman's secret tunnel. Inside it, they found weapons and a lot of advanced equipment. Old Barry sat in front of the main computer and began to look for information about Superman because he wanted to know where he was. At the same time, Bruce was watching him with the camera from his house, and they knew that he was turning and wanted a solution by any means. At that time, Bruce felt remorse, so he changed his mind and decided to help him. He took out his Batmace. He took out his Batman suit and put it on. They went back to old Barry, who fell asleep because he was tired of turning over. When he woke up, he found in front of him a complete file on Superman. They knew that he was currently imprisoned in a secret headquarters in Russia. Here, Barry was happy when he saw Batman entering their plane. They knew and agreed to help them. Batman told them that the mission had begun and that they had to go and get Superman out of prison. That meant they would go to Russia. They got on the plane and left. In a few minutes, they arrived and landed in the place designated by the parachute. They arrived at the prison where they started looking at the pictures until they reached the head and found where to enter. As soon as they entered, they found themselves in the middle of a laboratory with some scientists and even soldiers with them. The soldiers saw them and attacked them, but Batman did his duty and started to tease them. Then they went to the place where Superman was, but they found a girl in his place. She was very sick and sleepy. They took her with them, and when they went out of the door, they found the soldiers in front of them again. Batman was able to attack the whole group and did not leave any one of them. Then they went up in the elevator, and Batman threw a bomb under it to explode. The pressure from it lifted them up in the elevator until they reached the surface of the Earth, where they were underground. As soon as they went up, they found themselves surrounded by Russian soldiers, and they were about to arrest them. But that girl woke up and shocked them all, as she flew from above the ground and turned around and killed all the soldiers. When she asked them, she asked again, "What is it with Batman and Barry?" Her name is Kara, Superman's cousin, and they called her the Supergirl. She came to planet Earth to protect her cousin, but they took her to Russia and locked her up with them. Then she put on the Superman suit and went back to her planet because she did not want to help them. But Barry asked Bruce to help him go back and renew the conversation so that he could regain the power that Batman had gone to him. He agreed to this plan. He put him in a chair and found him chemicals and hit him with an electric shock, supposedly instead of lightning. But his body could not bear it, and he kept bleeding and lost consciousness. Here the girl Kara came at the right time after he thought of Kara and came back to help them when she found Barry lying unconscious. She carried him to the top of the mountain and stayed with him until he regained consciousness. After that, they continued the experiment until it succeeded and he regained his superpowers. Thus, they gathered his friends, Barry the Old and the Little, Batman, and Kara, and went to confront the villain. They started to fight with him, but Zod was able to kill Kara. Here, the young and old Barry gathered together and went back in time to bring Kara back to life. At that time, they went back to fight with Zod and were able to kill him, but after all this fighting, Batman was hit hard and fell and died. The young and old Barry went back in time to bring him back to life, but then someone appeared to them who resembled Barry in his features. He was an old man, meaning he was very old and came from the future. This old man was going to kill the old Barry in the time transition, but suddenly the young Barry met the blow, and he was the one who died. Here, the old Barry knew that he had entered into big problems because of this change in events. The impact on the future would be big and disappointing, and because of this, he went back in time to the day of the accident. When the mission was completed, he did one thing, which was walking around because he knew that he would not go back to see her. She was still behind him. He went back to the present time and found that this day was the day of his father's court session. He found himself and went to the court. The judge ruled his father's innocence because, when they flipped through the cameras well, they found that his father was in the supermarket at the time his wife died. Thus, his innocence was proven after he had spent 18 years in prison. He and his son Barry were very happy. Here, our film ends. We hope you liked the summary and do not forget to watch the previous summaries and subscribe to watch the upcoming summaries. Enjoy, and we will meet